Welcome to Daughters of the King podcast, a ministry that is designed for women of all colors and ages to be uplifted and encouraged in this hour. God is real, and He wants you to know that you are loved by Him. Our goal is to help you to go forth to complete your high calling in Christ. Stay tuned for tonight's message, starting now. Hi, welcome back to Daughters of the King podcast. I am so excited to share with you our special guest for today, Shonda Shockley. Shonda, thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. God put some powerful women into my life to speak in my life. When I had a hard time even recognizing, even loving me for me.
You know, many of us women, when we get tired, we go into a place of isolation, and we'll say, I don't need nobody. I'm good by myself. And you know what? We reach a place of anger and resentment, and this is where the enemy can really bombard our mind. So, I knew that you knew who you was in Christ when I met you. I knew that you're like a no-nonsense type of woman. You're like, look, this is not going to fly, okay? We need to be better in certain areas. And I love your strength, and I know that your story goes deep. I know that, we're going to talk about your sister who died by the hand of a man in domestic violence. How did you get through that, and how did you first know that this was going on?
Well, somebody asked me that many, many years ago, how did you survive it? How did you go through it? And all I could tell them was there wasn't nobody but God, because even at a young age, I had a thing for God. I didn't get raised up in the church, but it was just something about the name Jesus that I enjoyed. And like many of us, we dip and dab, and And it was like I never seen him, I never touched him, but I believed in him. When a person asked me that before, I said it wasn't nothing but God. That's all. I can't say it was me. But my sister, she was 22 years old. She was pregnant with her boyfriend's child, and she was trying to get her life together. And he simply told her if he could not have her, he would kill her. And that's what he did. Trust people when they say something. I live like that now. When people say stuff, pay attention. Pay attention to what they're saying and how they act and how they do things around you. I remember my sister came to my mom's house, and I think she had a busted lip or a black eye or something. And I remember my mom asked her, well, how did you get that? And she was saying, oh, the baby, he went back and, hit me in my face. My mom said, no, that boy hit you. And she covered up for him and didn't know that he was really beating her the way he was. I encourage anybody. And this all goes into ties of who you are and whom you belong to. You do not have to stand for anybody abusing you, whether it's mentally, physically, or emotionally. That's not love. Controlling a person is not love. Many of us go through, because I even experienced it myself with just mental abuse and, getting hit myself. And it was just a flashback. Wait a minute now. We can't do this. I definitely will not go through this. I've seen my stepfather beat my mom, and it was all. I always said, if a man ever touched me, I'm going to defend myself. You just can't do that, because nobody should have that much power over you to control you.
No.
And that's why it is critical. I say critical to be around people like having a church family, because it's women in that church that is going through the same thing that we go through. Some that overcame their situation, they either got out of it or God fixed it for them. It's very critical that we have a church home because it's our covering. Everything that I went through, every single thing that I went through in my life, God had prepped and prepared people. They even been through it or worse than I had. But they could relate to what I was going through, the pain I was feeling. So I encourage anybody, if you're going through anything, even a lot of the first ladies in churches are going through things and they cover it up. But God is not pleased with you covering it up because you can't preach the word and live a lie. People got to be transparent. They got to open up and let people know you can't put your hands on other people. That's not how it goes. Mm-mm. My sister left 3 children behind that question probably up until this day, why did it happen to their mother? She didn't do anything. Yeah. All she was trying to do was get her life right with Christ. But that's the plan of the enemy. He comes to steal, kill, and destroy. I can't give nobody else credit.
Thank you for joining Daughters of the King podcast. We appreciate your support. You may contact us at www.dotking.org. Please feel free to leave a message, a thought, and let us know how you feel about tonight's show. We are here to support you. We look forward for you to hear more from Daughters of the King in the days ahead. Bye-bye.